Night becomes death in this week's blood-soaked episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Stardust Crusaders. That's right, my friends, Dio has finally returned, and he's bringing with him Zawarudo! I apologize, guys, this review was a little late, but today, both Christian and I went to MomoCon, this amazing anime convention. We got to see a lot of awesome cosplay. The dealer's room was amazing. We also got to talk to Doug Walker, the nostalgia critic, and we also got to meet John Bailey, the epic movie voice for Honest Trailers. Don't believe me?
You're watching Super Comic Guru 9000, the sexual tyrannosaurs of anime reviews.
So this week's episode of Stardust Crusaders, we finally got to see Dio come out of the shadows, and man, what a freaking entrance. Not only did we get to see him in his extreme effeminate nature, but we actually got to see his stand this week, which is known as the World, which basically looks like this big, gloriously golden version of Star Platinum. He kind of looks like a robotic version of him, and he seems to have some very similar powers where he's just big, muscle-bound, will punch the crap out of you, but he also seems to have this other hidden ability, which I believe is just freezing time. Basically, he's Goldo from the Ginyu Force, just on a much scarier level. And throughout the course of this episode, you learn how terrifying he really is. The opening scene with Polnareff is amazing, because Polnareff is doing everything in his powers. He is pissed off. Iggy, Avdol, dead. He's ready to go up to Dio, and as soon as he does that, he keeps walking down the stairs because of Dio's weird powers. This is just the build-up, when suddenly Jotaro, Joseph, and Kakyoin just bust in the room, frickin' walking tall, getting ready to kick ass, and Dio then retreats up into the top of his tower. This is where presumably they're gonna kill him Dracula style, you know, open up the coffin, use the stake, but it doesn't go that way whatsoever. As soon as they open up the coffin, one of Dio's other goons, that one guy by the name of Nukasaku, ends up getting replaced in the coffin, and it looks like his entire jaw has just been completely disfigured. There's a lot of, black there, you can't really see what's going on, but it's pretty freaking messed up. Everybody freaks out, and instead of just fighting the vampire, they just decide to jump out of the window, and luckily, they manage to save themselves at the last moment. This is all the build-up to sundown, so pretty much we all knew, as soon as the sun is going to go down, Dio's just going to mess up everybody. He's a vampire. He no longer has a weakness at this point, and he's become fully assimilated with Jonathan Joestar's body. And that's where the action begins. I expected that this was going to be a very Polnareff-heavy episode, but one of the big stars of this week's episode, without a doubt, is Kakyoin. His encounter with Dio at the end is amazing, and the build-up to it is probably the best and most fucked up part about this week's episode, and it just demonstrates how messed up Dio is. There's this scene where he picks up this mob boss, and he breaks one of his goons' arms first, then he rips out this mob boss's teeth and orders him to drive the car. It's not enough that he's basically like forcing this guy just to commit murder and everything, but then he makes him run over all of these people GTA style. Just boom, 10 points, 5 stars, it's ridiculous. They don't show anything, but it's incredibly implied, especially when you see the frickin' blood splatter all over the car. And this leads to this fantastic chase scene where he's following after Kakyoin and Joseph when they're in the car, and Kakyoin tries to use his Emerald Splash abilities, but somehow Dio just has this like weird ninja-like ability, and this might be combined with the World's powers, where he like flicks one of the emeralds, and they all just sort of like ricochet off of each other and then explode right back into him. And this is an important scene because, one, it just establishes how powerful Dio is. Even when he's just sitting down in a car, just relaxing, he's still an amazing threat. But this is also important because Kakyoin is starting to learn a little bit more about his weaknesses, and that's where the end of this episode comes into play. It looks like Kakyoin is going to have a big showdown with Dio, and if you guys look at the preview for the next episode, it is heavily implied that Kakyoin is going to die. I mean, the whole preview is just his face and Jotaro lamenting on the fact that Avdol and Iggy are gone, so I don't want to believe it, but Kakyoin's head is probably on the chopping block. Otherwise, this week's episode was pretty friggin' awesome. So what's the rundown? On this week's episode of Stardust Crusaders, the introduction of Dio was pretty freaking awesome. I am amazed that, and I'm pretty much amazed throughout of all of JoJo for this fact, is that they can take a character who looks so ridiculously effeminate and make him so intimidating and badass all at the same time. This show has got some style. It's over the top, and it might not even be for beginners who are new to anime, but damn, is it infectious and fun. This episode was also just really intense, just seeing Dio just walk out into the streets all casually and just take command of everything. He's so high on himself, and that's kind of what makes him an amazing villain. You love to hate him, and I think that's a great sign of a villain. And his intimidation can come just through his powers, or even just that scene at the beginning where he's trying to get into Polnareff's head about how people need to be, like, having peace at mind with themselves. Like, that whole scene was one of the most well-written, tense scenes I've seen from the entire series. And not even a punch was thrown there. Like I said, I expected Polnareff was basically going to die in this week's episode. He was going to go out in the blazes of glory with Silver Chariot. Didn't happen. Despite that, the introduction of Dio and the world was awesome. I love the design of the world. It's awesome. Ironically, when we were at MomoCon today, we were looking at all of these figures, and we'll show you this in the video. There was this one that we saw of this, like, Dio statue, and right next to him was, like, this big, like, golden guy, and I saw that for, like, a split second. I was like, oh, I just saw Dio's fucking stand, and I'm about to see it in a couple hours in the anime. So I was a little disappointed. But despite that, I'm really excited to see what they're going to do with the stand, what its powers are going to be, more of the fights to come, because we got a couple episodes to go. These last couple are going to be great, so let's just enjoy them. On the technical side of things, this week's episode was great. Animation, artwork, the action scenes, in particular that big final chase scene at the end with Cocktuin and Dio, when he punches his freaking Hierophant green through all of the light poles. It looked really awesome. It was intense. The color schemes change. This show is freaking awesome. And you guys should check it out, but let's face it, you already watched this week's amazing episode. So I'm going to give this one a 5 out of 5. Check it out, JoJo fans. It was pretty badass. So, I like this episode, but what about you guys? Please tell me what you thought about this week's episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure in the comment section below. What did you think of the introduction of Dio in his stand? Did you have a favorite fight scene? Do you think Cockjoin is going to kick the dust? What do you want to see from the rest of Stardust Crusaders? Please tell me in the comment section. Thank you guys for watching my review. Make sure to like it, share it with all of your friends, and make sure to subscribe to the channel and follow us on social media. Thank you guys again for watching, and as always, stay dandy, baby.